Hey, how are you doing? I wanted to do a video today on mindset and the absolute vital importance of mindset. So we're in a period of time where, and I love Cliff High talks about this, where we are losing all authority. Nobody has. Oh, hey, doggos! What are you guys doing here? Huh? I don't know. Dogs. They're over there by my school bus. Mindset, right? We're living no authority, right? So, God, anybody believe the government anymore? The medical system. Anybody who's believing the medical system is probably going to be dead pretty soon. Academia, forget it. Like, it cut all the studies that's been paid for. So we're in a period where you really have to be much more self-determining for what you do and what you know. And it's going to be a very, very difficult time for a lot of people just from that perspective. And so one thing I want to talk about, I've been doing the microbes and minerals project where we have been applying these to soil and doing forever chemical tests both before and after, and we've demonstrated that we have destroyed forever chemicals, which is kind of a mind-blowing thing, right? Like, you better get ready for mind-blowing, because we're in mind-blowing right now, right? With technology and developments and stuff. Anyway, it's been absolutely fascinating to me, the people who can't accept it and won't accept it and the reasons why. And it's got a lot to do with mental rigidity. So for example, one really, really dear friend of mine, and she's retired now, but made her living most of her life by working with studies and research and that kind of thing. And she says, Marjory, I'd really love to see a research institute doing this work. And I'm like, what do you mean you want to see a research institute doing this work with the minerals and microbes, right? Like, what do you mean? Like, I have been publicly putting all my videos out. Here's the lab results. What can you argue with about this? And she just can't get it. She just can't accept it. She's like, no, it's. I'm like, any university is, the land grant universities are paid for by, Bayer, Monsanto, all the different chemical companies and everything like that. In fact, also that reaches out to the extension agencies. And then, of course, the private universities are paid for by the billionaires. Governmental stuff, they're not. Anyway, you just can't trust any of that stuff. So I'm like, hey, yeah, but I guess I don't have a white lab coat and I'm walking around barefoot and, but it's legit, right? So, but if it's not written up in some sort of official paper or some sort of official scientific thing, then to her, it's just not legit. And I keep running it by her, like, hey, here's the data. And she can't deal with it. So very, very interesting to me. Another friend of mine, wonderful woman, that's really, both these are really nice, great people. And they were smart enough not to get vaxxed. I mean, they do have something going on. And this other one's a farmer, and she's like, can't be, not going to work. And she did bring up an important point, and she's like, well, what else are you creating? And I said, well, my understanding is that the microbes are just like taking those complex carbon chain molecules and breaking them up to where they're, much more simpler and easy to deal with. Chemical, we have chemical, everything is chemical basically. And she's like, I don't think so. No, I'm sure you're making I'm sure those microbes are exuding something that's even more toxic than the forever chemicals. I'm like, I got to tell you, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I am going to work and see if there's some other tests we can do to verify that. But, one really simple, basic test is I hold that earth in my hand and I smell it, and it's really, really, good quality. It's just amazing earth when you get done with these tests. So, but the point is that she just has such a rigid, actually she told me outright, she says, nothing can be that fast. Nothing can do that. Nothing can do that. Number one, they're forever chemicals, and nothing can be that fast. Everything has to be long and slow and hard. And I thought, well, there you are revealing, your belief systems. So, really mindset, right? What's your mindset? And I know I'm guilty of it. I've got certainly all kinds of prejudices, and we've all been exposed to all kinds of stories and narratives and everything. So, you know, I do, another aspect of mindset is actually, I've done a lot of wilderness survival, as you may or may not know, and the number one thing that's going to determine if you get stuck out in the wilderness or lost or whatever, of whether you will survive or not, is your mindset. It's not the gear, it's not that. It's your mindset. And there's plenty examples of, like, the classic way people get lost out in the wilderness is they're going out for like a little 2-hour day hike or something, and they don't bring anything. We're just going for a short hike, right? And then they get lost, or this happens and that happens. Lots of examples of stories of, the day hikers, they get lost. Oh, and they just give up, and they're pretty sure they're going to die, and and they actually may die. And then, like right over the next hill is is the town, right? There's just a zillion stories of that. So, mindset is number one. And in fact, in the preparedness space, and again, as you know, I'm been into the preparedness space for just about forever. You kind of got the three categories, and one is stuff, right? And stuff is really important, especially in the transition, right? We're in a huge transition. And stuff is really going to help ease that transition. If you have stuff, it's going to make it easier. If you've got backup food supplies, it's going to be easier. If you've got weapons, if you've got water, if you've got, livestock and seeds, it's just going to make it easier. I mean, gold and silver, you know the drill, right? It's just going to make the transition easier, but stuff doesn't last forever, and it's also vulnerable to theft, and there's a lot of other issues with stuff. Now, the other thing to have is skills, and skills are awesome. Like, you've got to have skills. And if you don't have stuff, you can still do really, really well if you've got skills, right? So skills definitely, I hate to use the word trump, skills are better than stuff. But the third thing that's even more important than skills or stuff, and that's mindset. So if you've got a really good mindset, you will be able to do well, and if you've got skills, mindset, stuff, skills and stuff, you've got a way better chance of having a good time in these changes that we're going through. So I want to talk about another project that I have been doing. It's just a little personal thing, and that is I want to help at least a dozen people become millionaires. And I'm going to riff on that for just a minute. I actually might make a separate video about it sometime because it's just such an interesting thing. And so I've talked about this on the channel before. There are two really completely undervalued investments that are going to do amazingly well. And especially as, get out of the dollar. If you're holding your money in dollars, you're guaranteed losing money, right? I know it's comfortable. I know it's familiar. But like guaranteed you lost about 30% of your purchasing power last year, especially for something like food, right? And it's a guaranteed loss, right? And so silver, physical silver in your own possession. And then I really like the crypto theta. And I've done some videos about both why this is going to be. There's a lot of people believe this huge run up in cryptos are going to happen this year. It's 2025. By the way, it's January 6, 2025, for those of you who like to keep track of this. I believe it's going to be really volatile. There's going to be a huge run up, and then at some point in time, the entire system is going to collapse, right? And when that does, God, I don't know, there's 15,000 cryptos that are out there now. Almost all of them are going to be gone. There will be some survivors, and theta will definitely be one of the survivors. And so watch that video for why why I see this. It's completely undervalued. Like the theta token yesterday, when I looked at it, $2.50 for the token, and theta fuel, which may actually be even a little more valuable. I don't know, what are we at, 9 cents or 10 cents? I mean, this is something that's totally within anybody's range of buying it, and it's fundamental to the future of the internet. And silver. So anyway, I'm not going to riff on those two. I've talked about them a lot. But I've been telling people, hey, you know, this is going on, and I want to help a dozen people become millionaires. Hi, sweetie. What's up? Yeah, you want to say hi to everybody? And she's like, yeah, I'm cruising around out here with you. when the cats walk with me. And that has also been really fascinating. Like, I've had some people that just, this one woman's a good friend, and she says, I don't want to be a millionaire. And I'm like, okay, well, that's an interesting perspective. Now, I think she owns her house outright, and she's a herbalist, and you know, has a lot of great value other than money in terms of community and goodwill and you know, skills and stuff. And so she's going to be just fine. Not too worried about her. But there's lots of others, and I've had people come over and like, come bring your laptop over. I'm going to show you how to open up a wallet, how to create a wallet, how to transfer. We send crypto back and forth with each other, and I'm like, buy this crypto. Here's the link to get it, and da 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 da. And I show them why this is going to, and they just haven't done it. Or other people that are just like, you know, it's really clear to me why people have the amount of money that they have. And it's got to do with mindset. And I've been overly joyed and really delighted with the people who have said, oh my, that makes sense. And, you know, some of my family are like, okay, you know, they're loading up. They got a good stash of physical coins, and they bought some theta, and I'm like really happy because they're retired. And they're going to be so disappointed. Like, I mean, those are the people, the pensioners, right? They're the ones who absolutely get destroyed in hyperinflation or in system collapse. So I'm really happy that they're doing that. Now, you might say, why are you doing this? And I have quite a few reasons for doing this, to trying to help people become millionaires. I may have helped some over the internet, I don't know. I hope I have. But why do you do that? And there's a law in the world here, in this reality, that what you give out and what you do comes back to you. And some traditions say it comes back sevenfold or something like that. And, you know, like the businesswoman in me, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to do that 700% ROI. But that's not the reason, really. And if you go at it with that reason, because intent and purpose is a part of the mindset, right? It's part of the thinking that you're doing. And really, I really just want to help my community. And, you know, if I'm the only one that has money and resources, then it's a problem. It reminds me of Texas. In Texas, I used to have a beautiful garden, and the garden was doing so good and so wonderful. And, you know, irrigating it, and it did fine until we got into June, when it got into, oh, I was thinking something on the road there. Till we got into June, when everything dried up because it was a friggin' hot, dry place. And then my little green garden, which is surrounded by dry brown grass, was like I attracted every single grasshopper in the entire county. So, you know, you really do. And plus, you know, you want to have a good time, and you want to have friends, and you want to have companionship, and you want people around you to be strong. And so, yeah, that's why I'm especially trying to focus on helping as many people locally do it. And then it's just the, you know, the sheer gift of giving and of helping. I'm doing this a little bit early this morning, and we're catching all the commuter traffic. These mountain back roads in Puerto Rico or something. So anyway, so yes, so I want to help as many people as possible, and more than just because I'm going to get something back. It's more because I really just want to give and help and see people being stronger. So that's the motivation for that. And it's just been absolutely fascinating to do this project. And there's other people, and I used to be one of these people a long time ago. There'd be like, Nothing could be that good, or nobody could really want to give like that. They've always got some ulterior motive, and I have to agree. You know, most of the stuff you click on the internet, it looks like they're giving to you. There is an ulterior motive of selling you something. So, you know, I get it, but I do just genuinely want to do this, and yeah. So, all the spiritual traditions, all the really good, deep spiritual traditions that really help you move toward enlightenment or move toward developing yourself, so you can, you know, get off this whole, understand reality and get off what they call the wheel of karma. They all talk about controlling your mind, controlling your thoughts. You know, what you think is who and what you are. So, you know, and that's really coming down to mindset. So, you know, if you're in a wilderness situation and things are going bad and you're like, oh, this sucks and I'm going to die, then yeah, it sucks and you're going to die. But if you're like, well, we got an opportunity, we got a challenge here, let me try to remember what I know about this, and, you know, let's work together, and you're going to be fine. You'll make it through it, right? It'll be a whole adventure. So, you know, controlling your thoughts, and that's, again, most of the spiritual traditions are, you know, don't become angry, you know, when something happens, or, you know, don't go into fear, or don't, you know, don't go into lust, you know, like all the different ones, right? There's the 7 deadly sins. It's all about your mindset and controlling your mind and controlling your thoughts. So anyway, that's the one thing that you have, and you have total and complete control over that. Like that's, well, not complete control, we're all learning control, but you know, regardless of where you live or how much money you have, or any of that stuff. What is that story of that guy who became a prisoner, and he's a prisoner of war or something like that, and but he kept his mindset intact, and he kept instead of, you know, oh, the victim and all this stuff, he actually focused on positivity and coming out, and it was hugely transformative experience. So mindset, it is something you can work on, and remember, mindset is going to be way better than skills or stuff, and the best off you're going to be is if you have all three. Yeah, so there's a riff on the importance of mindset, and thoughts are things. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next one. This is Marjory. Have a wonderful day. Oh boy, the button.